Hello guys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome back to my channel. And today this video is going to be covering pentamelding, everything that I've learned, all the mistakes that I made, the cost for pentamelding, and whether or not you should even do so. So with that being said, let's get into it. So the most important thing you should be taking into consideration when deciding whether or not to pentameld is, what are you going to be doing? What are you using the gear for? Are you crafting a ton? Are you a multi-crafter, or you just either use a carpenter or leather worker whenever you need it? Or in the realm of gathering, how much do you gather? What are you gathering? And whether or not you want to hold off until 6.1. But first, I'll go over a wonderful website called Teamcraft. This has everything. The theories that go into melding, why we meld, breakpoints, and all this, all the theory that goes behind all of these sets. You can read them here and you'll learn a lot. I usually would just check a best in slot list, take all the melds that I need from there, and meld without a second thought. I ended up losing a ton of gil that way. Sometimes you actually don't need to pentameld fully to get what you need done, but the website is in the description and I recommend looking through it as we go through the melds. So now we'll be going over the crafting melds. So who should use the Scrip Gear? I recommend it to those who aren't dealing with this kind of market crash for the prices of the crafting gear. Since Scrip Gear is not universal for each crafter, if you plan on multi-crafting, aka using more than one crafter, I definitely recommend just buying the HQ crafted gear with minimal melds. The amount of purple scripts you would spend on otherwise is actually a ton of gil lost, taking into consideration how much material you can buy with that amount of purple scripts. So right here is the Scrip Gear set. If you decide to go with the Scrip Gear, you're still going to need the HQ crafted accessories since there are none available for scripts at the moment. Of course, this is for Weaver. You're going to need an individual set for each individual crafter. Also, I just melded the accessories with Control, since Control is really nice to get as much as you can of. And with this set, you can easily craft the highest level food. You don't need any food, any HQ items, or even to be a specialist. I will of course include this rotation down below, so if you're interested, you can try it out. And it's not just for food, you can use it for any kind of high level craft with the same amount of durability, and you can also fiddle around with it to make sure that it works for you. But of course, this is the Scrip Gear, doesn't need any HQ materials to craft the recipes that we have right now. Now we can go over the high tier gear. Now, why would you want a high tier set? Well, it is the day 1 raid gear, the new crafting gear, and of course the new raid potions and raid food. Now I'm looking at the Shadowbringers version of the next master book that we'll have, aka the 2-star recipes, the green raid gear, and the new crafted gathering and crafting gear. You are going to need the pentamelded high tier set to craft these day 1. Of course, keep in mind that there are more crafters ever than before. There is going to be some intense competition, more so than any other expansion, but you can make an insane amount of money on day 1 from all the high-end raiders and high-end gatherers and crafters who don't care about crafting the crafted gear themselves. They would rather just buy the gear for whatever price will be posted day 1. So if crafting the raid gear day 1 is important to you, getting the crafter and gatherer gear day 1 is important, or getting all the foods and pots crafted by you, then of course go for the high tier set. But the high tier set is expensive, so let's go and see how much it costs. So here's the high tier set in Teamcraft, and as you can see, you're going to need a lot of scripts. But obviously, I want every piece of material here, so how much is that going to cost you? You can easily figure that out by going here to generate a list, and once you've generated that list, you can go here to pricing mode and fill prices based on your market board prices. And right now, if your RNG is perfect, you're going to be spending around 9 million gil. Of course, it is RNG. You're probably going to be spending more, so this is the only thing that you have to keep in mind if you're going for a high tier set. Although it's better to do it now than later, because now the material prices are actually going down and they will once again jump up like crazy once the raid gear comes out, because people will be rushing trying to craft since they didn't prepare beforehand. But if you do want to craft the raid gear day one, this is your go-to. But what if you don't have that kind of money and you also want to wait until better, more optimal meld sets come out? Well, you can use the safety melds for the high tier. Now, you'll be needing a lot less scripts, of course, include the tools for other jobs as well, but still you're going to be using a lot less, and we can still price check this as well. So 3 million in total. Of course, RNG is still a factor. It's a lot less than the high tier set. And with these stats, you can of course craft the hardest recipes that we have right now with no issue, no HQ mats, and no food required. And again, the rotation will be down below in the Google Doc. So should you go after a high tier set or a safety set? Well, unless you decide to craft raid gear day one, then go for the high tier set. If you're not planning to craft raid gear day one, then of course just take the safety set and wait until better, more optimal melds come out or better gear. And again, all these sets, the website, and all the rotations will be down below in the Google Doc. Now we can go over gathering. So gathering is a lot more straightforward than the crafting melding. I recommend Scrip Gear for those who don't gather much, gather only basic level 90 collectibles, or are waiting for beta gear that comes with 6.1. Otherwise, you're gonna need a mid-tier or high-tier set if you plan on consistently gathering. Both the mid-tier and high-tier set allow you to gather the mats that will be used for the future master book, aka the future crafted raid sets and future crafted gathering and crafting gear. You're gonna need at least 2,990 perception to even gather the node. Both these sets cover it, but of course the high tier set will allow you to gather more than the mid tier, but both will be totally fine for the upcoming crafted raid gear and all the other recipes that come with the master book. So this is the mid tier set. You of course are still going to need a lot of materia, but nowhere near as much as a high tier set. A mid tier set is perfect if you plan on gathering Aether Sands, level 90 collectibles, and general crafting mats. This is just enough breakpoint for hitting the +1 node bonus, so you'll be getting more per node compared to the Scrip set. And now we can check how much the mid tier set will cost. So in total, 2 million gil. Of course, you're gonna need RNG since materia is like that. It is a pretty good price though for all things considered. You can get a lot done with the mid-tier set. Now we can go over why you would want a high-tier set. Here is the high-tier set. Of course, a lot more materia required, but of course you will get a lot more per node for everything. Aether Sands, collectibles, even general gathering. Since you will of course use the high quality carrot nibbles, you'll be hitting the breakpoints for getting the +1 yield to 40% boon. You'll just get more per node. Now let's look at the price to how it compares to the mid-tier set. So around probably more 11 million gil. But of course, this is perfect if you're consistently gathering, you're farming Aether Sands. You would of course want this set because you'll be getting more for the amount of time you'll be spending. And overall, from the amount that you can make off of Aether Sands, collectibles, and all that, this is a small amount of an investment for the overall gain of gil that you will get gradually from just gathering. Now, of course, the rotations for gathering nodes are all different. I will include a link to the theory crafting that goes behind rotations and the recommended rotations per type of node, aka the Aether Sands, normal nodes, time nodes, etc. But with my set, and I'm not even done here, I can easily get a ton of Aether Sands in a short amount of time, and of course get plenty collectibles from a timed node. So guys, that was my guide to melding. Now, that was a lot to take in, and of course, don't spend more than you need to. Take a look at what you're actually doing, how much you actually need to spend, instead of blindly just following a vest and slot list and going by that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a ton of luck with your melding. And of course, thank you to everyone that supports me on Twitch, Discord, and YouTube. You all keep the channel going. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye!